35 kilometers from the finish, 15th stage.
Two riders out in front. This looks like the fellow who was taken into the stone wall earlier by Corti, the second rider in that group, along with the Panasonic rider here. Yes, I believe the second rider there is the one that was pushed into the stone wall, as we saw earlier.
I guess he's fortunate that he's not with Corti again.
Not this one, but yes, indeed.
One of the few riders wearing a helmet. Actually, this Giro was marred by a very serious accident. I think it was in the second or third stage. A rider of the Atala team by the name of Ravasio, who had won a stage at the Coors Classic in 1984.
In Vale.
In Vale, yeah. Ravasio crashed, and he wasn't wearing a helmet, and he went into a coma for about 2 weeks, and at the end of which he died.
Many American fans will remember the jubilation with which Ravasio won that stage in Vale. That was a tremendous crowd, a very vocal crowd. I had the honor and pleasure of being there at that time and calling the race. And Ravasio, one of the most popular non-American winners of any stage of the Coors Classic. It's unfortunate that he was taken away before his time.
Why did he become so popular on the Coors? Was he just a likable kind of fellow?
That's exactly it. He was just very exuberant in victory, very animated on the podium, very, his thrill of victory stop-action photograph, if you will, that froze in many people's minds, was one of extreme joy at winning in front of such a vocal crowd. Fans, I think maybe the difference between fans in Europe and fans in the United States is that fans in the United States cheer for the winner, whoever the winner might be. Fans in Europe tend to be a little nationalistic. The French fans will cheer for their favorites, the Italians for theirs, etc., etc. And over here, I think if there is a difference, a basic difference, it's that the American fans, they don't know any of these people well enough to have a clear-cut favorite, and they cheer for any winner. And Ravasio gave them a true picture of a winner that day, and he will be missed. We observed a moment of silence this year, in fact, at the Coors for Emilio Ravasio.
I wasn't aware of that. That's very nice. He certainly was popular with his teammates as well as with the whole entourage of the Giro. It was there were scenes on television of all of his teammates really moved the day of his death, and they all attended funeral services and mass, and the fellow was definitely one of the most popular riders, in spite of the fact that he was a very young pro. I think that he turned pro right after the 84 Olympics, so he certainly hadn't been around for a long time, but was a very dedicated domestique. It was one of these real reliable guys that the team could definitely count on.
80 kilometers an hour on the descent here just a moment ago, the shot of the speedometer on the motorcycle. 80 kilometers an hour.
It wasn't a very steep descent because he was actually pedaling through it, so you're looking at a gradual descent, and 80 kilometers an hour translates to 50 miles an hour.
And after 7 hours and 15 minutes of racing, to be able to still pedal at that speed.
That's Eric Pedersen again. The fellow that I mentioned earlier was a singing star in Norway, in his home country.
Very jubilant victory scene there for Pedersen. Here comes the race for third place.
Bombini.
And Bombini taking that third place sprint. Again, 7 hours and 15 minutes.